Hey, yo, surprise, I got a video for y'all. Yo guys, what is going on? Blossom's back and welcome back to another episode of Top Tries. And that is right, I am really happy with the pacing of car updates recently. It's funny because just recently, like literally last week, I was thinking to myself, it's actually been a while since the last update. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing another car update because obviously, like, since World Expo, we've been getting a lot of content with World Expo, then Amalfi Coast, Black Forest, Pacific Coast, Lock to Lock, and I was learning the Savannah Way, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, literally, I was thinking, I guess it's been a while since the last update, There's been a lot of World Expo here and there, and yeah, boom, the pacing has been great. We have another car update around the corner. It is update PL20. Yes, we are now in the 20s, and it is a Asian themed update with cars from Japan, from Korea, Malaysia, as well as Australia. So I know Australia's Oceania, so it kind of, some people might be annoyed that it's kind of fixing this Asia Pacific update. Here's the other thing, it's like, did we even get any Asian cars in World Expo? Because like with the sales going on right now in the store, it's like they're saying that, it's been a year, World Expo is ending, so is Asia just not part of the world? I don't know. But anyway, guys, you saw the teaser video. Now I'm gonna see if those rose tinted glasses, or is now the time to take those rose tinted glasses off and see if these cars are truly worth the hype or not. Now, I always do this when there's a new update around the corner. Let's analyze the cars that we have seen and compare them to actual cars in the game to really see if they are worth that hype. So the first car from the teaser video, and guys, at the end, there are going to be 3 exclusive cars as well, is the Hyundai Pony. I mean, the picture quality is decent. It's actually very clear. I can see the car very well. The shading is pretty nice. Yeah, the background is pretty boring, but it works and the crop is good. I'll give it an 8 out of 10. Hype meter, though, 0 out of 10. I mean, truly, it has the same handling as the Honda, but it's just not better. Like, the main competitor is going to be that Honda Prelude. I'm comparing this with front-wheel drive standard tire cars with medium ground clearance, and the Chrysler LeBaron, although it has a worse 0 to 60, handles a lot better. So I don't see the Hyundai going anywhere. I don't think it's going to be an interesting car whatsoever. Next up is the Hyundai i800. The only reason why on the hype meter I'm giving it a 1 out of 10 and not a 0 out of 10 is, although it's a pretty insignificant car, I think the only thing that makes it kind of interesting is that although the stats aren't good, it's going to be probably the only RQ15 in the entire game that has traction control and ABS. I don't know if it actually has both, but you would kind of assume so from a car from frickin' 2019, you know what I mean? So the closest cars that I could compare it to were the only 2 other RQ15s that had ABS. Both cars do not have traction control, but they both have ABS. And as the Honda EV Plus and the Peugeot Hog, they both handle pretty badly, and their 0 to 60s are relatively weak. And the Hyundai is definitely going to be, a lot heavier than the Peugeot and the Honda. So again, just not terribly interested, but the photo is nice. Next up, Uncommon. Now this one I'm actually relatively excited for, and that's mainly because I am a saloon fan. I love saloons, and the Mazda Atenza is a pretty cool car. It looks like it's gonna get, an all-rounder kind of stat for an RQ26. 77 handling means when you max it out 323, it's gonna be 85 handling. 8.5 for a 0 to 60. I don't really know how low that's going to go, but I think its main competition would be like the Mercury Cougar, for example. 8582, 7775, and the Volkswagen Scirocco as well, 79 to 85, or 79 to 8.50 to 60, 77 to 74. I'm gonna assume that the Atenza is low ground clearance, and so is the Cougar and the Scirocco, which I'm comparing the Atenza with. But yeah, 8 out of 10. I think the picture's all right. I know it's a white background, but at least the crop is cool, the angle is cool, I can see the entire car. It's a cool spec, and yeah, I'm relatively hyped for this, mainly because I'm just a saloon fan. Next up is the Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid. Again, I think there's going to be a lot of eco-friendly cars, or a lot of like eco-friendly tagged cars that are going to add on to the tag in the game, because there are not a lot of cars there. So the Hyundai is going to add on to that. I can see a lot of just Japanese hybrid and electric cars getting into that. Picture quality 8 out of 10. Height meter though, just not very interesting. I think it's somewhere in between like the Alpha and the Nissan. It's like a slightly better version of the Nissan, because they're both very similar. They're the same 0 to 60, almost the same top speed. The only difference is that the Juke is 75 handling, the Ioniq is 76. And then you compare it to an RQ29 like the 155. Yes, the Ioniq handles better, but there's a 0 to 60 start difference of like half a second. So yeah, I mean, again, it's just, even the cars I'm comparing that to is not even that interesting. Now moving on to rares with the Mazda 626. Yeah, I have no hype for this at all. It's the worst handling car here. It has the best 0 to 60, but I mean, come on, man. It's got 129 for a top speed, and I guarantee you the MRA of the 626 is nowhere going to be above like 80. So yeah, it's not a dragster. It's just not a dragster. So the picture is really cool. I like it when there are like boats in the background, or like a plane or a jet or a helicopter, and you know, some other form of transportation I think is really cool, or just another car. But yeah, ultimately it just looks like a very lackluster car. It's the worst handling one here, and it's not a dragster. It is going to be lost in, you know, just the fuse pile. Next up is the Mazda Miata M Speedster. I can already see a lot of Miata fans just literally like simping for this car already, or as they do with any Mazda Miata, to be honest. But yeah, compared to its competition, I'm putting in the Alfa Romeo RZ and another Japanese car in the Mazda RX-7. Got the same 0 to 60, right? 6868, 81 in the Miata, 79 in the RX-7. So it does look like it is going to be a pretty decent 36 compared to the Mazda RX-7. And it also looks like a decent 36 compared to the Alfa Romeo RZ, because it has the low 0 to 60 and the best handling, or the joint best handling. But the issue is the main competitor here is going to be that Opel Manta Rally 6.983. And I feel like if the Mazda cannot trump the Opel Manta, then it really is just kind of irrelevant anyway. Picture quality 6 out of 10, height meter 6 out of 10. I'm relatively excited for the car, but I'm just not entirely sure how well it will, perform. Next up, the first Supra that we see straight up is 48. We don't see any 46s, 47s, or anything below 48 for that matter. And it's the Hyundai Ioniq 5, 75, whatever it is. They're not even cool with the names anymore. I've been in that car before. It was an Uber. Back when I was in London, like almost 2 years ago. Did it really have 77 handling? I'm not sure about that, but it does look like a very good rear-wheel drive center tire car. It is miles above the 730 in terms of handling. It has the same handling as the Holden Commodore Evoque, but it has a lower 0 to 60, so it does look like a good car for its niche. The only issue is its niche sucks. Rear-wheel drive center tire sucks. Picture quality I think is really nice. I'll give it a 9 out of 10, but height meter 6 out of 10. If that was like 4-wheel drive standard, I'd be really excited, but if it's rear-wheel drive standard, I don't really care. But it does look like a good rear-wheel drive standard for whatever that's worth. Next up is the Mitsubishi Galant VR4. I bet Bunny is so happy, dude, with all these Mitsubishis coming to the game. So far from what we know, I mean, they're adding what? Hyundai, Mitsubishi. I don't think I've seen any Kias. Have I seen any Kias? Has anyone seen any Kias? And some Mazdas, Bufori as well, and another another Australian car that we'll talk about in a bit. Yeah, height meter is pretty low in this one, man. The thing is, if you can't beat that Challenger GT, then I'm not interested. Now, next up is the Mazda 6 3.7. I love that photo. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. Height meter, not so much. 5 out of 10. Handles okay. 76, definitely looking better than the Acura ILX, but you would expect that because the Acura is 1 RQ lower. Shares the same RQ as the Chrysler 200, and although it handles better, 6.3 seconds and 5.7 seconds is a massive difference. It is literally 0.6 second difference, like more than half a second. So that's going to be something to think about and consider. So height meter, average. Eventually, like at the end of the day, I'm going to max out the Mazda anyway because it just looks really pretty, especially with that photo. All right. Moving on to ultra rare, and we start off with a massive disappointment. Now, if anyone's an OG to the channel, I think there was this one time where I had a small series where I made my own custom cards, and I was imagining, like, you know, updates to come. And I actually called this car, like, same handling, same photo, verbatim. You can go check that video out if you want to. So I want to take credit for that, even though, like, you know, but yeah, I'm proud. I'm proud that they chose that photo. It's a good photo. And I got the handling bang on. I got the 0 to 60 bang on in my custom card version. But yeah, it sucks. It just looks like it's gonna suck. You know, 76 handling is everything in the off-road meta. And if you can't stay competitive with the Fiat Abarth, and I guarantee you the Fiat Abarth is just gonna be the better car, just because it handles more. They're both medium ground clearance. They're both rear-wheel drive. They're both off-road. Yada 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 yada. But yeah, ultimately, you know, it's gonna suck. I think it's gonna suck. I'm also putting the A-Bar 500 in there because it handles better. It's a way better car for a cheaper RQ. I know some people might say that's not a fair comparison because A, they're not Japanese, B, the A-Bar is low, and obviously the Mitsubishi is going to be medium. But at the same time, there wasn't much to choose. The only other medium ground clearance, you know, rear-wheel drive Japanese off-roader ultra was a Datsun, and that was RQ62. So that wouldn't be fair anyway because 62 and 55. But you know, anyway, this Mitsubishi is gonna suck. The picture quality is amazing, but I'm not interested in the car at all. Moving on is the Hyundai Vision G Coupe. You know, I'm thinking medium ground clearance. I'm thinking like a two-door kind of situation. Not really a saloon, but you know, medium ground clearance nonetheless. 5.0 82. I mean, it looks all right. I think the MRA is going to be garbage, to be honest, even though it's 180. But when you compare it to like the Maserati Quadruple, they look pretty close. You know, only a 0.1 second difference between both the cars. MRA is going to be a huge factor in which car is going to be more important. The Holden Ute as well, very, very close, a 0.1 second difference in 0 to 60. Obviously, the Hyundai handles better than the Maserati, but it handles the same as the Holden. The Holden's a little bit slower, so that's going to be a very interesting one. I'm very interested to see where this Hyundai is going to be and how good it's going to be. Picture quality, 8 out of 10. Height meter, I'm pretty hype about that one, to be honest. All right, next up is the Mazda. You know, it's a front runner for a future Blossom choice. You know, picture quality is a 10 out of 10. Height meter is a 10 out of 10. At the end of the day, guys, it's got a relatively low 0 to 60. But the main thing about this thing is that AT handling, 4-wheel drive, and standard tires for only 67 RQ. Now, the Subaru Legacy, I think a lot of people can agree, is a really strong car, right? 69 RQ, 4-wheel drive standard, 86 handling when you max it out. But now you put it into comparison with the Mazda 3 2.5, literally cheaper, handles better, lower 0 to 60, which only means one thing. The Mazda 3 is probably low ground clearance, or the Subaru Legacy is going to go down in RQ. I'm also comparing it to an RQ70 Volkswagen Phaeton, and obviously the Phaeton has a better 0 to 60 of 0.4 seconds, but the Mazda has 8 more handling, which is absolutely insane. I'm really hyped for this, and I think that's going to be a very strong car, this Mazda, that is. Moving on now is this Mitsubishi. Now, the way that I took the screenshot, you know, there's a shine to it, so you can't see the stats, but if I remember correctly, the top speed for that is like 112 or 113. It's not very high. It's very similar to the Ford Mustang. And the Mustang is a prize car, you know, 4,983 in the Mitsubishi compared to the Mustang's 3,780. And definitely, yes, it is going to be better than the Subis. The Subis, you know, a 68, 5.283 compared to the Mitsubishi's 4.983. So if you're a Mitsubishi fan, you know, those are little wins for you because you are better than the Subarus within their RQ. But that being said, I'm never gonna touch an RQ67 car or a 66 or a 65. I'm just not interested because I don't want to spend so much resources on a mediocre car at the end of the day with the bigger picture when you look at all epics. So with that being said, my hype meter is pretty low, although it looks pretty good within its RQ. It's the RQ that doesn't look good at all. So yeah, hype meter 3 out of 10. Moving on is the Mitsubishi Eclipse 4.083. Again, I'm not interested in this car because it doesn't handle, you know. I'm comparing it to the BMW M3 and the Renault Trezor, whatever you want to call it. Both low ground clearance, 4-wheel drive cars, but the Eclipse just fails to excite me. The Trezor is the closest thing to it. The only difference between these two cars is a 0.1 difference in 0 to 60 and 1 handling score. That's it. Picture is great on the Eclipse, but you know, I'm not hyped about it. 3 out of 10. Blech. Okay, now we talk about big boys. We got this one down. We've got a massive prize card. Once again, I was too early with the screenshot, so it looks like it's incredibly bright, but you can see the main stats about it. 3.90 to 60, 88 handling. I don't even know the bloody name for this, not gonna lie. But yeah, the main competition, direct competition, is going to be the Peugeot 206 WRC. But I guarantee you that I'm gonna love the Mitsubishi a lot more because I'm a saloon collector. So that's going to be massive, massive, massive. Picture quality 9 out of 10, and the hype meter is, we're cranking that up to 11. That is just, oh, that is nice. I'm also comparing it directly to the Peugeot 205 because usually when it comes to the off-road meta, handling is literally everything, and that 88 is going to be more valuable than the 87. And of course, we also have the Hyundai Veloster, I think 3.189. Picture quality, it's cool, right? But like hype meter, for an 83 kind of sucks. You know, you compare it to the Viper TA, the Viper just handles way better, and it's got a higher top speed and a probably better MRA as well. The Viper TA has like 92 MRA, so for the Veloster to get anything higher than 92, I'd be surprised. It looks like a slightly weaker version of the McLaren 12C, which isn't the strongest of 84s. It's just kind of So yeah, 4 out of 10. I'm not even a hatchback collector, so I'm not even interested. Remember guys, the hype meter is completely personal, okay? So yeah, to me, I don't like hatchback, so I'm not really interested in that car. Now, time for some exclusives. The next 3 cars I'm going to show you are prize cars, so only one of them is going to exist in your garage. Well, maybe the Ultra, maybe 2, because Hutch is a bit more lenient with duplicates for Ultra prizes. But the first one is an Australian, I believe. AU could mean Austria, but I mean, it's called Asia Pacific, so I don't think it'd be Austria. It's a Geo Group B. Never heard of that, but when I looked at the car, I was like, oh, it reminds me of the Fiat Abarth. So that's immediately why the Fiat Abarth is in this comparison, although they are completely different cars with completely different stats. You know, it's 4852, 85 to 80. And yeah, dude, I'm gonna be honest, the Geo Cotolo or whatever, it just looks like garbage. In terms of stats, car's cool, but in terms of stats, it's just garbage. It's 61, right? And the Suzuki C2 is like 1.1 seconds faster to 60. And there's 2 more handling, which only begs me to think that, oh, maybe the Geo is medium ground clearance. But dude, look at the freaking skirt, or I guess the lip of the car. Look at how freaking low that is. There ain't no way it's medium ground clearance, right? But like when you look at the stats, you know, you kind of just have to tell yourself, nah, it's gotta be. If not, it's going to be one of the worst 61s in the game. Anyway, height meter is pretty low for me, but the picture quality is aight. Next to, we have the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 2 Group A. Picture quality, yeah, obviously 10,000 out of 10, dude. That is one of the nicest photos in the game. Reminds me of the Gallardo, actually, from Italian Renaissance. Height meter is a 10 out of 10. It looks like a stronger version of the Delta, but a weaker version of the MG Metro, because at the end of the day, handling is key, man. But hey, if you got to use these four-wheel drive off-road tire cars on an on-road situation, and you can only use four-wheel drive off-road tire epics, then the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo, I believe, will be the best option to use because of that low 0 to 60, where it actually makes a difference on road as opposed to off-road. Now, moving on is the Mitsubishi Lancer Evo 8 RS. Now, this is the biggest one over here, dude. I gotta say, I am so excited for this. I am ready for any kind of bloodbath. I would throw money at the game to win this car because literally, dude, this car at 1 star, will match the handling of a Max Cadillac CT6. That's how insane that is. Like, it's 4-wheel drive, it's standard tires, and it has AT4 handling, and it has a low 0 to 60. That maxed out is like 4.093. Remember the old BMW, the Grand Tourer, that used to be like the most OP standard tire car in the game because it had 92 handling back in the day before the massive nerf? The Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 8 is going to be what that BMW used to be. And you know, it's a saloon, it's probably medium, it's gonna be insane. So shout out to Hutch, thank you for giving me this car for an exclusive showcase, because it is worth the hype. Like, that is huge, and there is nothing I can compare the Lancer to. The closest thing would be the 330D, because they have the same handling, and the 330D up to this point was one of the best handling 4-wheel drive standard tire cars in the game, but that's all gonna change with this Lancer. So that is a whole new meta. And then on top of that, I mean, I just threw in the 760 Li because it's the best 4-wheel drive standard tire car in the game in terms of RQ, and as you can see, the handling difference is literally night and day. So yeah, picture quality not that cool, hype though super high, 10 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's gonna be it for today. That is every single car from my teaser and the 3 exclusives. Let me know down in the comments below if you are excited for the update, or if you think, you know what, it's kind of a pass. Comment down below how excited you are on a scale of 1 to 69. Anyway, hope you guys have a great day. I'm gonna stay safe, wash your hands, and blossom out. Peace.
Bro, this song just makes me so happy.
Me too.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly, got it, jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Imagine being Asian in the 50s, looking nifty, leather jacket, looking sleek, look like Presley, look so deadly, got it, jukebox back at home, feeling jazzy, turn it on and play it slow, like the movies with the ladies.
They so fine.
Sit back, relax in my Bonneville Pontiac. Hold tight all night, cruise to Jacksonville.
Atlantic.
Blonde hair, don't